Guys, you know this formula from lecture, but how we can understand how we derive this formula? What is the condition when firm prefer to leave the market, to shut down? If profit of this firm with optimal quantity less than profit when she does not produce anything. Yes, agree? This is the condition, but let's derive. Profit, this is total revenue minus total cost. Total revenue, price multiplied by quantity minus variable cost minus fixed costs. You know this. And this should be less than profit out of 0. Price multiplied by 0 minus variable cost out of 0 minus fixed costs. Let's see. This is 0, this is variable cost out of 0. When I do not produce anything, 0. Yes. I have 0 variable costs. I have only fixed costs. Yes, fixed costs is on the left side and on the right side. And what we get? We know that quantity is not equal to 0. So we divide by quantity not equal to 0. What we get? Price less than variable cost divided by quantity. And this is average variable cost. Yes. This is how we derive this condition. The condition to shut down. Okay, let's continue. We see that we should compare profits with profit with optimal quantity and with 0 quantity. So now we should find optimal quantity for perfect competitive firm. How we will find optimal quantity, how much to produce is most efficient. Each firm maximizes its profit. I write profit of perfect competitive firm equal to price multiplied by quantity. This is total revenue. Price is constant because our small firm is price taker. Yes. Minus total cost. This I should maximize by quantity greater or equal to 0. This is a profit maximization task. So what we should do? First
should be equal to marginal cost.
We use the first order condition.
Yes. Our first step. This was 0 step. First step. We should write down first order condition. First order condition. In calculus, you write that this is first derivative should be equal to 0. We should find extremum, yes, of this function.
Polina, may I ask, please, what is the index of profit?
Profit of competitive firm, PC.
PC, thank you.
Should be equal to 0. But this is only for interior solution. So we will write that profit for maximum should be less or equal to 0. And first derivative should be equal to 0 if optimal quantity greater than 0 strict. This is for interior solution. In Russian video, you can see why it is so. Okay, let's do it. Let's take first derivative. First derivative out of p multiplied by q is what? Price, yes, because this is constant. Price minus first derivative out of total cost is marginal cost. You know this. Should be equal to 0. Let's suppose that we work with interior solution. This is suppose. Okay, let's calculate. Marginal cost equal to first derivative of total cost in our task is q square minus b2 plus 1. Yes? So price should be equal to q square minus b2 plus 1. This is quadratic equation. We should find quantity. Yes, function of quantity. We will have two roots. Yes. Q will be equal to minus b is b plus minus square root out of d, and d will be equal to b square minus 4 multiplied by 1 minus b divided by 2. Yes. And in next steps, we will choose the root, the right root. Let's continue. Second step is the second order condition. Why we should use it? We should find such quantity that will give us maximum profit, not minimum profit. Yes? Because in first order condition, we found only extremums. We do not know this is for maximum or minimum. Here, we should check that we found the right root for maximum of profit. So, the second order condition for maximum. Second derivative
has to be less than 0.
Less or equal to 0 for maximum. For minimum, vice versa. You know this. Okay, let's do it. Let's take our second derivative. The derivative out of constant is 0. 0 minus MC prime should be less or equal to 0. Or the slope, the derivative out of marginal cost is the slope of marginal cost function. Yes? The slope of marginal cost should be greater or equal to 0. So we work on the upward slope or upward sloping part of marginal cost. Yes? Okay. This was first order condition. This second order condition. Let's check. MC prime equal to 2q minus b should be greater or equal to 0. Yes? I took the derivative. So quantity should be greater or equal to b divided by 2. You see. And let's look on our roots. What root we will choose? With plus or with minus?
With plus.
With plus. You see, b divided by 2 plus something positive or minus something positive. Yes. So we took only positive, only root with plus. Who should be equal to b plus square root b square minus 4, 1 minus b divided by 2, here also divided by 2. Third step, last step. Last step is shutting down condition. Every firm in every market should ask herself, should I produce something, or I should leave the market and not produce anything. We know this. To shut down, price should be less than average variable cost. What we know for perfect competition from first order condition? From first order condition, price is equal to what? Marginal cost, yes. So we should use this. This is only for perfect competition. So marginal cost should be less than average variable cost. This condition, price less than average variable cost for each market, for perfect competition, for monopoly, for all markets. But marginal cost less than average variable cost only for perfect competitive market. Okay? Let's do it. Q square minus Q plus 1 should be less than average variable cost. Let's find it. We see that we do not have fixed costs. We do not have constants in total cost, yes? So total cost is variable cost. So to find average variable cost, we should divide this total cost by Q. This will be Q square divided by 3 minus BQ divided by 2 plus 1. 1, 1. What else? 2 Q squared divided by 3 minus BQ divided by 2 should be less than 0. We can divide by Q not equal to 0 because we check only interior solutions. So 2Q divided by 3 should be less than b divided by 2. Or Q should be less than 3b divided by 4. So if quantity less than 3b divided by 4, firm leaves the market. Leaves the market. And if quantity greater or equal to 3b divided by 4, firm stays and produce. Let's find the condition for B to answer the question. This is our optimal quantity. Let's check. B divided by 2 plus square root b square minus 4, 1 minus b divided by 2 should be less than 3b divided by 4. From this, you can find answer for your question. This will be the function out of price, because our small firm now take price as constant. This will be answer. But now we will continue, and we will find the supply function of small firm on perfect competitive market. Also from here, we can find the condition for price. And this will be, let's see, price should be less than 1 minus 3b squared divided by 16. So if the price is very small, firm does not produce and leaves the market. And now we can write down the supply function of our small firm in this market. Supply of small firm. Perfect competitive market. On or at? At. In. At. So our small firm will supply S from supply as function of price. How much? This equation, b divided by 2 plus square root b squared minus 4, 1 minus b divided by 2, only if, which condition?
Only if price is more than
Yes. If price greater or equal to this equation, 1 minus 3b squared divided by 16. And firm leaves the market and produce 0 otherwise. Yes? This is the supply of small firm at very competitive market. Okay, this was analytical solution. Let's draw the graph. It will be sketched, but with all what we need. Horizontal axis quantity, vertical axis everything that we count in money terms. So what we know, we will draw marginal cost, average variable cost. Why I know this, that marginal cost function and average variable cost function looks like parabolas, their graphs, because they are quadratic functions, yes, from the test. So, what points I know? I know this point where marginal cost cross average variable cost. What? I know this point. Yes, 3b divided by 4 from shutdown condition. Yes. And price here is this 1 minus 3b squared divided by 16. Agree? Also, I know minimal point for marginal cost. This will be
1 minus
B plus
b divided by 2 from second order condition. We know that we work on the upward sloping part of marginal cost. If quantity greater than b divided by 2, marginal cost has upward slope. Yes? If quantity less than b divided by 2, marginal cost has downward slope. Here, b divided by 2. So, and let's draw the supply, the inverse function of supply. So, we produce 0 if price less than 1 minus 3p squared divided by 16. Then, if price will be greater or equal to 1 minus 3b squared divided by 16, we will produce this is the inverse supply function for perfect competitive firm. P is out of Q. Okay? Questions? You can ask questions in Russian. Guys, you also can ask questions in English or in Russian. Так, хотите что-то спросить?
У нас не выглядит так, как будто мы ответили на главный вопрос. То есть мы как бы...
Мы ответили на вопрос.
Не, я понимаю, но просто выглядит так, как будто мы выразили именно P
Да-да-да.
P, а не P.
Я это говорила, когда мы в shutdown написали, да, выражение, я сказала, оттуда можно выразить B и ответить на вопрос. Я это записывала. Вот, да, но потом сказала, что давайте еще побольше сделаем, да, чтобы у вас была запись, да,
Вот
в
если бы
семинаре.
мы ответили на этот вопрос, нужно было или это было достаточно, чтобы на P ответить?
Вот нужно было дойти до shutdown, записать выражение, оттуда не P выразить, а B выразить.
Да.
Ну да, ну смотрите, вот отсюда выразите P, и вот будет ваш ответ на вопрос.
То есть это тоже не обязательно.
Ну вот записывать функцию предложения и рисовать график не обязательно. Окей.
А еще можно вопрос? Нам обязательно выражать на P через P, через P нельзя выражать.
Через P. Должно быть, с параметрами должно остаться. P это константа, тоже число. Let's move forward. Second task. The second task is about monopoly. We consider two monopoly markets. The demand for each market is P minus 1 divided by sigma. Function of total cost for each market is I multiplied by 4, so this linear function. What we know for each market? For first market, sigma is equal to 1/2. For second market, sigma is equal to 2/3. This is marginal cost, average variable cost for variable for linear functions. So C1 is equal to 1 divided by 8. C2 is 1/3. What we should find? We should find for each market, we should derive Lerner index and profit of monopolist. What we know, what is the difference between perfect competitive market and monopoly market? Yes, but what this index shows us? the level of market power. Yes? For market. Yes. So in monopoly market, firm can influence and will influence the price, but in perfect competitive market, one small firm cannot influence the price. So in perfect competition, firms are price takers. In monopoly market, firm is price maker. Yes? Let's write down monopoly can influence the price. So, what is the equation for Lerner index?
Minus MC.
Price minus marginal cost divided by price. Yes. How we name price minus marginal cost? This is what
Fixed.
you can say in Russian.
First order. It's zero.
No. По-русски это маржа. Правильно? Profit margin. Profit margin. So if you as firm can make more margin, you have more market power. Yes? So this index shows us. But profit margin can be, I don't know, $100 or $1 million. So that's why we divide it by price. For Lerner index should be between 0 and 1 to normalize only. That's all. Let's derive Lerner index. Let's derive. Because I know that you derived it in the lecture, but let's do it again. We begin, as in each market, we begin from profit maximization problem. Profit of monopoly is also total revenue minus total cost. Total revenue minus total cost. But now, total revenue is also price multiplied by quantity. But price now is not constant for monopoly. Price is what for monopoly? Yes, and yes, this is the inverse function, inverse demand function. Inverse demand function multiplied by quantity minus total cost. Why is it so? When monopoly choose the quantity, how much to produce, monopolist asks himself, what will be the price? I want to grab all money that I can from my buyers. Yes. So I will make such price that it will be the maximum willingness to pay from my buyers. And maximum willingness to pay is the definition of inverse demand function. Maximum willingness to pay, you know this. So here, inverse demand function, because monopolist is price maker. Mm-hmm. And each firm should maximize its profit by Q greater or equal to 0. Same steps. First order condition. First derivative should be less or equal to 0 or equal to 0 if we speak about interior solution. Let's take this derivative. From here, the derivative from total revenue is what?
U.
No. The derivative from total revenue as from total cost is marginal revenue. Yes? Marginal revenue minus the derivative from total cost is marginal cost. For interior solutions should be equal to 0. So marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. M равно MC, да, вот эта формулка, она даже на гербе эконома имеется, да, там, приглядеться. Okay, let's continue. We should take the derivative from
this one.
yes, from this one. But you see that we have two functions out of one.
So, firstly,
What it will be? It will be the sum. Yes?
yeah, the inverse demand function.
P prime multiplied by 4 plus 1 multiplied by this demand function. This is demand function. Yes? Should be equal to marginal cost. Here, let's take price and move it out of brackets. In brackets, what we see? P prime multiplied by 4 divided by price. No, yes. Plus 1 is equal to marginal cost. This is something similar. This is something similar to elasticity. But what we know about elasticity? Elasticity of demand is equal to the derivative of demand function multiplied by price divided by demand function. What we know about derivatives? This derivative should be equal to 1 divided by the derivative of inverse function. Yes? And let's see how I can write this thing with elasticity.
It is 1 divided by.
Mm-hmm. It is 1 divided by elasticity. Yes. We know that elasticity is for demand function is less than 0. Why? Because when the firm increase the price, people, buyers, leave this seller. Yes. So the quantity goes down. So this is less than 0. So we will write with module. 1 minus 1 divided by module out of elasticity is equal to marginal cost. And let's see what else. 1 minus 1 divided by module of elasticity is equal to marginal cost divided by price. Shift 1 minus marginal cost divided by price is equal to 1 divided by elasticity. Price minus marginal cost divided by price is equal to 1 divided by elasticity. This is Lerner index. This is our profit margin. Yes. So, what we can say that if we have very elastic demand, very quick reaction of buyers, then what we can say, then the firm has very small market power. So if elasticity is very, very big, very quick reaction of buyers for very, very small increase, very, very small increase of price, a lot of people leaves us. So we have very small market power. But if we increase price and people stays and buy from us, so we have very, very big market power and very big markup. This is the solution. Or this is the intuition.
Understandable.
Let's continue. So let's do everything for our task. What we should do? First of all, for our profit, we should find the inverse demand function. Here we have, in our task, we have demand
Извините, там
function.
вот вопрос, да, то, что там минус появился, у нас был...
Подожди, тут модуль.
Нет, а до этого там же у нас был... там в скобке тоже минус. Не, там вот, извините, вот тут, например, у нас было, вот можно извинить, что мы там берем то, что вот мы заменяем на 1 деленное на эластичность, и там у нас +1, а потом мы меняем это на 1 минус.
Еще раз, да, кто-нибудь рассказывал, эластичность у нас это отрицательная величина, да, если эластичность спроса. Почему? Потому что если мы повышаем цену, да, на чуть-чуть, от нас уходят люди, да, от нас уходят люди, видите, обратная зависимость. Вот. Да, и чтобы не путаться с этими минусами, да, переписывают как минус 1 делить на модуль эластичности. Да, то же самое. Да, ну, по-моему, вот то, что под модулем, здесь вот эта штука положительная будет, но минус нам сразу говорит, что все равно это элемент с минусом. Хорошо? Давайте сделаем так. We have our demand function. It is P and minus 1 divided by sigma. What will be the inverse demand function? Q in what? In minus sigma. Yes. This is the inverse function. This was Q. This is the inverse function. Обратная функция. Okay, let's continue. So, total revenue now is our demand function, Q in minus sigma, multiplied by quantity, multiplied by Q. It is Q in 1 minus sigma. Marginal revenue. First derivative. 1 minus sigma is 2 minus sigma. Marginal cost we know. This is only C, first derivative from total cost. So first order condition. Marginal revenue should be equal to marginal cost for interior solution. And it will be 1 minus sigma multiplied by Q in minus sigma is equal to C. Q will be equal to C divided by 1 minus sigma in minus 1 divided by sigma. Mhm. Okay? This is the quantity that monopolist will produce. Optimal quantity for monopolist. Q star or QM for monopolist M. Then monopolist asks himself, what will be the price? The price will be maximum willingness to pay. So we should take this quantity and put it into what? In maximum willingness to pay. This is the inverse demand function. Yes? So the price for monopolist will be the maximum willingness to pay. This for such quantity that monopolist chose. How much it will be? In minus sigma, let's do it. C minus sigma minus 1 plus sigma in minus sigma. We multiply this part, which will be C by 1 minus sigma. This is calculus, this is not economics. It's okay? Yes. Mm-hmm. So let's write down learner index. How much it will be? 1 minus 6. Sigma. Mm-hmm. So this sigma will tell us about the degree of market power for each market, for each monopolist. What about profit? Profit is revenue, price multiplied by quantity, minus C multiplied by quantity. Or, no, here, quantity, price minus C. Sigma minus 1 by sigma is sigma 1 minus sigma minus C. This is profit for each market. Profit of monopolist. So let's write down answers for each market. Let's work with numbers. For the first market, Lerner index is equal to sigma. For first market, it is 1/2. If I'm not mistaken, yes. From the task, yes, 1/2. And profit will be here. I will count. 1/2, here 1/8. 1/2, here 1/2, 1/8, 1/4, here in minus.
А можно вопрос? А почему мы С умножаем на КМ?
Total cost. Они линейная функция, там, это задание. Кто посчитает? Давайте посчитаем. Давайте. Profit should be equal to 2 for the first market. For second market, Lerner index 2/3. Yes, from the task sigma. And profit
1/3.
1/3.
Yeah.
2/3.
No profit.
Lerner index 2/3 and profit for the second market. Okay, there will be also 2/3. So, what conclusion we can make? We can say that on the first market, market power is less than on the second market. So on the second market, monopolist is more powerful. But more powerful monopolist gets less profit. Yes. So we cannot say that more market power means more profit. No, this is not true. This is our counter example. Yes. So let's write down this conclusion. Larger index of market power not guarantee larger profits. Not guarantee. Great. Because profit depends not only of price and marginal cost. Profits depends also on average cost. And in Lerner index, we see we have only marginal cost, but profit depends also on average cost. That's why here profit is great. Okay. Also we can say for this task here, this was Lerner index for such functions. This is Lerner index, and this is what with minus. This is elasticity. Yes. But only for such functions. Okay. Questions for this task? Guys, please ask. While I'm erasing the blackboard. Our class finished at 10:50. Yes? Great. We have time to do the class task. Only first part. The second part is for your home activities. Third problem. In the third problem, we will speak again about perfect competitive firms, but not about each firm, but about the whole perfect competitive market. And we will move from one small firm on perfect competitive market to whole market. What we know? We know the demand, the market demand is equal to 1 minus P. Simple. We have many producers. Each producer has total cost function Q squared divided by 2. In A, we should answer for n competitive firms. What will be the market clearing price? can rephrase. What will be the market price in equilibrium? Let's solve this. This is our task. We will name it price for perfect competitive competitions. Here C, word competition for n firms as function out of a number of firms. This we should find. And how much each firm produce. Small for one small firm, competitive if we have n firms in the market. So this is our test. From what we should begin.
Maybe
Find the supply function
Sure,
by finding marginal cost and
sure. We are in every task we should always write down profit maximization program, first order condition, second order condition, shut down, and then continue. Profit maximization program for one small firm in this market is price multiplied by quantity minus total cost squared divided by 2. This we should maximize by quantity greater or equal to 0. First order condition for let's find only interior solutions. Suppose optimal quantity greater than 0. Only interior solutions. And then check that this is true. Price should be equal to marginal cost. Marginal cost here equal to what? Yes? Easy. Second order condition. We should work on the upward slope part of marginal cost function. Check. The derivative from marginal cost is equal to 1. Yes, it's linear function with upward slope. 1 greater than 0. Oh. Okay. Shut down. Marginal cost, not for not to shut down. Let's write it for not to or to stay in the market. Marginal cost should be greater or equal to average variable cost. Marginal cost is Q, should be greater or equal to average variable cost. It is what?
Q over 2.
Q divided by 2. And this is true for each quantity. Yes? This is OC for each quantity greater or equal to 0. So, second order condition and shutdown condition tell us that the supply function for small firm is equal to what? To price, yes. And we will not have parts in our supply function. This is true for each price, for all prices. So this is supply of one firm, of one small firm. Next step, let's find market supply. For what we needed? No. My question is why we should find market supply. Sure. Yes. From here we will find market price, market supply. Market supply is out of P or Q peak. This is the same. Yes. Is equal to the sum from E equal to 0 to number of firms, their supplies. But we know now that we have identical firms, yes, with the same cost functions, and we have n small firms. So this will be n multiplied by the supply of one small firm. And this is n multiplied by p. That's okay. So market clearing price. Markets clear when market supply is equal to market demand. Easy. When market supply is equal to market demand. This is n multiplied by p equal to 1 minus p. So price that clear our market, the price that clears our market for n firms is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus n. Agree. This is our first answer. Yes. What we can say about quantity that produce one small firm for such situation, or n firms in the market? How much it will produce? Same, yes. Because we have such supply function. Yes, quantity of one small firm should be equal to price from supply function. So it will be the same 1 divided by 1 plus n. And let's check the intuition. Let's check the intuition. More firms, less one small firm produce. More firms, less the price. This is response to our logic. Why? Because more firms, more competition, so the price goes down. Yes, so logic, okay. And you can check such things for checking your calculations. Yes. Every task. This is the answer for point A. Let's move and we will do point B. What we have in point B? In part B, the task says us that now small firms have entry fee. They should pay to enter the market. In point A, they did not have this entry fee. Yes, but now they have entry fee to enter the market, which is equal to 1 divided by 32. They should pay. And now
it refers to fixed costs.
yes, sounds like this. And the task is to find the optimal number of firms in the market with such entry fee. What is, let's discuss. What is the situation of equilibrium? No one wants to leave the market and no one wants to enter. Two conditions. What is the condition for firms that do not want to leave the market? They do not want to leave the market if their profit of each firm, for n firms that we have now in the market, should be greater or equal than this entry fee. Yes? No one wants to leave the market. So they entered the market, they paid this entry fee, but and they have positive profit, positive or equal to 0 profit. Yes. Mhm. This is a condition for firms that do not want to leave the market. What is the condition for firms not to enter the market? The condition should be the next firm, n plus 1, the next firm should not want to enter the market. What we should say? This entry fee should be bigger than what?
N plus 1.
Yes, yes. What profit will be if it will enter? N plus 1. Great to equal or great? Okay, let's try that. Great to equal. It doesn't matter. So this is condition that no one wants to enter the market. Let's write down profits and let's find our optimal number of firms in the market. Profit of one small competitive firm if there are n firms in the market. It will be price, competitive price, this market clearing price multiplied by quantity that our firm produce minus costs, minus total costs. So this is n squared divided by 2. Yes. Out of brackets. Is what? 1 divided by n plus 1. Huh? Here, 1 divided by n plus 1 minus 1 divided by 2 multiplied by n plus 1. So here it will be minus 2, 1 divided by 2 n plus 1. Please check. Yes?
Is it squared? N plus 1.
1 divided by 2 multiplied by n plus 1.
N plus 1 must be squared.
Yeah, thanks. Here's square. Great. Then, what will be the profit of competitive firm if there are n plus 1 firms in the market? Easy. Here we should write not n, but n plus 1. And let's write our condition. 1 divided by 2 multiplied by n plus 1 square. Greater or equal to 1 divided by 32. Greater or equal than 1 divided by 2 n plus 2 square. How we solve this thing? We revert our parts and change signs. What we will have? 2 divided by n plus 1 square less or equal to 32 less or equal to 2 n plus 2 square. divide by 2. Here, how much?
16.
So here, square root, yes, n plus 1 less or equal to 4, less or equal to n plus 2. Minus how much? Minus 1, n less or equal to 3, less or equal to n plus 1. This is the answer. Okay. Optimal number of firms for such entry fee is 3. This is the answer for this task. The second part of this task is for your home assignment. Not obligatory, but okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. I recorded this English class, so it will also be on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I will send the link today or tomorrow. Okay? So, thank you. Do you have questions?
Извините, можно спросить, а куда вы перешлете ссылку на видео?
Я всем на почту, всем на почту, и когда я согласуюсь с лектором, можно ли присылать, да, я всем на почту вышлю. Но я бы хотела, мне не да, это все выкладывать и присылать, да, поэтому я...
Все, спасибо, я понял.
Все, до свидания. Bye.